A very good evening to all of you. Thank you for being here for the special briefing on the developments and the evacuation Operation Ganga in Ukraine. In this pattern, let me share with you whatever updates we have since, as you know, we are doing this daily briefing to keep you updated of this national effort to bring back our citizens from Ukraine. I'm happy that some progress has, as we are saying, is accelerating. But on a couple of issues, of course, there are areas of concern. So let me look at some of the numbers and figures that you've all been asking me during the day. I'll try to answer some of those. Let me start with the broad numbers, the top line numbers. The total number of Indians who have left Ukraine since our advisories were issued, we estimate is now near 18,000. Okay, so I think yesterday it was around nearly 17,000, and today is nearly 18. Yeah, today is about 18,000. We will have questions. Just let me. The pace of Operation Ganga continues to accelerate. During the last 24 hours, 15 flights landed in India. As you see, I think it was 3, 6, and then 9. So 15 flights in one day, bringing back more than 3,000 Indians. So with this, it takes the total number of flights under Operation Ganga to 30, if I remember correctly. And I think that so we have brought back around 6,400 Indian citizens. During the next 24 hours, which is the time frame usually we're projecting, 18 flights have been scheduled. So it was 15 flights. May I request my cell phones, please? During the last 24 hours, we had 15 flights, and the next 24 hours, we are expecting 18 flights. Of these, 3 would be Indian Air Force C-17 flights. And the other flights are commercial. Just wanted to list, we have almost major airlines there: Air India, Indigo, SpiceJet, and Go First or Go Air. In terms of the departure points from Europe, there will be 7 flights from Bucharest, 5 from Budapest, 3 from Rzeszów in Poland, and 1 from Košice in Slovak Republic. In addition, a new location has been identified near the Romanian border in the city of Suceava, from where 2 flights will be operated during the next 24 hours. I think Suceava flights will obviate the need for students to go all the way to Bucharest, which they are doing currently, which is a long drive from the border. So once they cross into Romania, this will be an easier option. Let's see how it works out. This increased number of flights that I'm talking about every day, I think reflects the large number of Indians who have actually crossed over from Ukraine and are now in the neighboring countries, Ukraine's neighboring countries. We will further step up efforts to bring all these Indians who have now in safety back to India at the earliest. We are scheduling more flights. In fact, we have planned more, and I'll continue to update you on which ones. We hope that over the next 2-3 days, a large number of these people will be back home. In the interim, till they are brought back to India after having crossed the Ukrainian border, our embassies, in cooperation with the host governments and local partners, are providing food and accommodation to them. So I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the Ukrainian government for facilitating the evacuation of our nationals despite their own challenges. I would also like to thank Ukraine's neighbors for taking the extra effort and hosting our people and all the support in evacuating them through their countries. Returning back to the developments on the ground in Ukraine, we are closely following developments in Kharkiv, Sumy, and other cities in eastern Ukraine. As you know, yesterday in Kharkiv, we issued an advisory for all Indians to leave the city by 6 p.m. local time. Pursuant to this, a large number of students left and are currently in the nearby city of Pisochin. We estimate this number to be around 1,000 people there. We are currently looking at transportation options to move them from there to western Ukraine or southern Ukraine, depending on what transportation options work out. Separately, some others from the city of Kharkiv were able to leave on trains yesterday during the night earlier. So that has also helped in reducing the number of people in Kharkiv. Unfortunately, of course, there has been a fresh outbreak of violence today in Kharkiv, so which always makes our job much more difficult. But this is something that's happening up and down, so it's a dynamic situation. I wanted to emphasize that we are in touch with Ukrainian and Russian authorities to look at or examine the modalities of seeing how we can evacuate from both Kharkiv and Sumy and other cities that may be required. So that's one of the priority areas, of course, as I think Foreign Secretary also mentioned the other day. Just a word on our diplomatic engagement. Prime Minister spoke to President Putin yesterday and discussed the safe evacuation of Indian nationals from conflict areas in Ukraine. External Affairs Minister held telephonic conversations with the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Joseph Borrell, with the French Foreign Minister, Jean-Yves Le Drian, and the Foreign Minister of Estonia, Ms. Eva-Marie Limets. Separately, of course, the Foreign Secretary also spoke to the Deputy Foreign Minister of Ukraine, again on the modalities of getting our students out, particularly from near Kharkiv from Pisochin. It's the 24 hours usually. If I've missed out something just above the 24-hour mark, please do let me know. But the crowd on the western borders, that is the overall crowd, I don't mean only Indians, continues to fluctuate. We discussed the border with Poland yesterday. Movement was very smooth, but over the night and the early morning it was clogged. So some students took more time. As I just came in, I was given a report that the situation has improved there. So it's very difficult. You see a lot of videos and stories. So it goes up and down. A movement has been steady and progressing well across the Hungarian, Slovak, and the Romanian borders. And of course, thankfully, the overall number of Indians on the western borders waiting to cross has actually reduced sharply, as the numbers indicate. We have only a movement from about 17 to 18,000. So there aren't that many now ready on the western borders waiting to cross. Our embassy team, which is now the part of the team which is operating from Lviv, is providing assistance. I think at the railway station as well as at other places. They are also coordinating. I wanted to take a minute here to emphasize that, look, while the embassy team, of course, is small and trying to be on the ground, we also are in touch with other partners as well as student coordinators who are trying to assist students. While we may not be able to reach everyone physically or be there, we are trying to see the best options when somebody calls us or indicates where they are. This is the process that's going on, and as I have mentioned repeatedly, our embassies, our strength teams have been increased, augmented, and I'm happy to see that this large number of people have been able to cross over. Just a word on the humanitarian assistance that we have been providing or announced. I think the first tranche, of course, went yesterday morning, and then subsequently, I understand those three tranches went to Poland. So first tranche, and then two more. One was a C-17, I think, and the fourth one has reached Romania. This humanitarian aid consists of medicines, medical equipment, other relief material, tents, etc. This is broadly where I wanted to share with you what we have in terms of updates. If there's something I've missed, happy to answer in the questions. Okay, let me open the floor. Let's start this side today. I'm going to start with you, ma'am. Please introduce yourself for the record.
सर विजय लक्ष्मी हूँ इंडिया टीवी से. कल जिस तरह से खबरें आई पहले रशिया के प्रेसिडेंट के हवाले से जो प्रेस रिलीज आई, फिर उनके डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री के हवाले से कि कैसे भारतीय छात्रों को ह्यूमन शील्ड बना करके वहाँ पर रोकने का प्रयास या यूक्रेन की तरफ से किया जा रहा है. फिर यूक्रेन की तरफ से काउंटर क्लेम्स किए गए. हमारे MEA का भी एक वक्तव्य सुबह आया. क्या हमने इंश्योर किया है कि ऐसा नहीं है, और अगर ऐसा नहीं था तो रशिया ने इस तरह का क्लेम क्यों किया? हमने क्या डिप्लोमेटिकली कुछ उनसे बात की?
Just 1 second, please, and after that.
So what
For
so
the
this is
record.
Kamaljeet Sandhu from India Today. So how many continue to be in the conflict zone, and what's the way out, and what happens to the Eastern Front? Has things moved from that particular area? Because apparently still a lot of videos coming in where students are talking about not being able to make it to the Western Front.
Please, yours. I'll come to you.
उमाशंकर सिंह, एनडीटीवी इंडिया। कल जो रूस रक्षा मंत्रालय की तरफ से बयान दिया गया था उसमें ये भी कहा गया था कि रूस जो है वो अपनी टेरिटरी और अपना ओन मिलिट्री ट्रांसपोर्ट प्लेन जो है उसको भी इस्तेमाल करने की बात उसमें की गई है। तो क्या किसी तरह का कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन रूस अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ हुआ है, खासतौर पे खार्किव से जो लोग, जैसा अभी आपने बताया कि 1000 लोग सुरक्षित जगह पे हैं, तो इस मामले में कोई बातचीत आगे बढ़ी?
मैं एक फाइन इस तरफ से लेता हूँ। आई थिंक 1 मिनट से उनका पहले हाथ देखा था मैंने अगले राउंड पे।
सर मेघना देव, डीडी न्यूज़ से। सर सुमा में भी कई बच्चे मौजूद हैं, उनके बारे में क्या अपडेट है? क्या वहाँ से भी लोगों को ट्रेन से ले जाने की कोई कोशिश की जा रही है?
ओके, ये राउंड ले लेता हूँ क्वेश्चन। लेट मी स्टार्ट विद दैट। विजय लक्ष्मी जी, आपने जिक्र किया था, हम एक स्टेटमेंट आई थी वहाँ से रूस के तरफ से प्रधानमंत्री के बात करने के बाद, और उसके बाद हमने रात में देखा यूक्रेन साइड से। देखिए, हमने तो उसमें एक बयान दे चुके हैं, मुझे और कोई एडिशनल कुछ नहीं है। मैं सिर्फ दोहरा सकता हूँ जो हमने कहा था उसमें कि हमारे जितनी जानकारी है ऐसा कोई हॉस्टेज सिचुएशन नहीं है, और हम ऐसा कोई रिपोर्ट नहीं है, और हम कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं यूक्रेनियन साइड से भी कि उनका कोई स्पेशल ट्रेन वगैरह हो जाए। मैंने जैसे कहा, फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी ने कल रात लेट नाइट पे बात की थी डिप्टी फॉरेन मिनिस्टर से कि कोई स्पेशल ट्रेन या और कोई सुविधा हो निकालने के लिए, क्योंकि अब वो आ गए हैं पश्चिम की तरफ, अब वो हैं पिसोचिन जगह में हैं, और हम रूस के साथ तो बिल्कुल कांटेक्ट में ही, उनके इनपुट से ही ये हुए थे। तो ये सिचुएशन अभी है। उन्होंने क्या जारी किया, कैसे किया, इस पर तो मैं टिप्पणी नहीं कर पाऊँगा, पर हमने हमारा जो पर्सपेक्टिव है उस तरफ से हमने ये शेयर किया था। Kamaljeet, you talked about how many in conflict zone. Look, that's a very difficult question to answer for both reasons. A, how do you define what is a conflict zone in itself? And B, as we are saying, this is all an estimate. As we have been saying, let's look at the overall numbers. We had initial registrations of about 20,000 people. We estimate, as I said, 18,000 are out. But clearly, people did not all, not everybody registered, clearly, because if 18,000 have come out and we know for sure that there are more than a couple of thousand people, 1,000 in Pisochin and there are others. So I think that number will be a little higher. If we focus on specifically the cities, as I said, we estimate few hundred people still remain in Kharkiv, despite or following our advisory and the deadline. I want to add that we understand that trains are running from there, and people over the night who couldn't walk to Pisochin actually took the trains. If that situation continues, we would urge people, subject to their safety because there's a shelling and fighting, if they could come, perhaps to take the train or some other mechanism and leave would be perhaps the best way. So that's one area of concern and focus. Sumi zikr kiya tha, and same goes here. आई थिंक मेघना जी आपने कहा था, सुमी में भी हम उसको चेक कर रहे हैं कितने लोग हैं स्पेसिफिकली अभी बाकी, उसका भी कुछ फ्यू हंड्रेड्स होंगे वहाँ पे भी। वहाँ पे सिचुएशन थोड़ा डिफरेंट है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे अभी उसका कोई क्या रूट क्या है उसमें भी कोऑर्डिनेशन है। हम देखिए, हमारे जो प्रायोरिटी है वो है कि स्टूडेंट्स को किस तरह से निकालें, इसके लिए हम सबसे कॉन्टैक्ट में हैं। कोई भी रूट चल सकता है हमारे लिए, जो सबसे सेफ ईजी रूट हो उसको हम लेंगे। कल खार्किव में ये रूट मिला, हमने लिया। सुमी में कोई और रूट मिल जाए हम वो लेंगे, आपको जानकारी देंगे उसमें। उमाशंकर जी कह रहे थे कि रूस के ट्रांसपोर्ट प्लेन का, देखिए ये सब डिटेल्स हैं जिसमें मैं कह नहीं पाऊँगा एग्जैक्ट क्या हो रहा है, पर हम उनके साथ बातचीत में तो हैं। अगर वो ऐसी स्थिति आई कि वो निकल पाए उस जगह से और जहाँ जा पाए, जहाँ से ट्रांसपोर्ट प्लेन से जाएँ या बसेस से जाएँ, पर देखिए ट्रांसपोर्ट प्लेन उस एरिया में तो पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है, पर एक बार बाहर निकल गए यूक्रेन से तो हम भी प्लेन भेजने के, हमारी एयरफोर्स की तो प्लेन जा ही रही हैं, तो वो ऑप्शन हमेशा रहती हैं। पर अभी दिक्कत ये है कि उनको जहाँ पे हैं वहाँ से एक सुरक्षित स्थान पे लाएं, फिर वहाँ से उनको किसी भी बॉर्डर पे ले जाएं। ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि उनको लिविव के साइड पे ही जाए। अगर पास पड़े रोमेनियन बॉर्डर, मोल्डोवन बॉर्डर, उस तरह रूस के बॉर्डर पे अभी तक कोई मूवमेंट हुआ नहीं है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है। Okay, let me take a next round of questions, Siddhant. Sorry, you have a lead. So 1 second. If you have a related question, I'll take that. Yeah, please. Akhilesh.
Sir, I am Akhilesh Suman from Sunset TV. Russian National Defense Control Center head Colonel General Mikhail Mizintsev has said that 130 buses are ready to evacuate stranded Indian students and other foreigners from war-torn Kharkiv and Sumy cities to Russia Belgorod region. So, do we have any information and any touch with them regarding this facility that they are giving? And to add to this, Quad summit is going to be held. So who initiated?
That's a distinctly second question, different, but it's not related. Why don't I come back to you? I'll give you the microphone. Let's. No, 1 second. I saw a couple of hands that side. Who was that? Okay. So Asini, take that one.
I wanted to ask actually about more clarity, and I think it's already been asked about the Russian allegations. But I wanted to ask for more clarity on your own announcement yesterday that it was Russian inputs that allowed India to pull its citizens or tell its citizens to flee Kharkiv at a certain hour's notice. Is that part of ongoing coordination between India and Russia? Are they telling us where they're going to bomb next so that we can get our citizens out? I'm asking this because we have seen enough reports today that suggest that Russia held off bombing Kharkiv in order to allow Indian citizens to leave. So we'd like a little more clarity. Yesterday you said you weren't in a position to tell us more about the Russian inputs, but just on the nature of the kind of cooperation between India and Russia when it comes to this. Part of this is also a report you may have seen on something called Axios.com today, that says that the US State Department has now recalled a cable it sent out, but in that cable it said that India's abstention is firmly putting India in quote-unquote the Russian camp. I was wondering if you would react to the idea that India's abstention actually places it in what the US State Department, which has not denied the presence of the cable, there's a US State Department spokesperson quoted in that report, refers to as the Russian camp.
Just 1 second. No, hold on. I have to give it to Siddhant. I forgot. Siddhant, your turn.
Hi, sir. I'm Siddhant from Beyond. My question was how much the Ukrainians and the Russians have been instrumental yesterday evening in terms of the Indians able to leave Kharkiv. The role especially played by the Ukrainians and played by the Russians.
Okay. And I'll take one more or maybe a couple of more. I had promised that. So I'll come back. Don't worry.
Myself, Urvashi Kona from NewsX. Sir, there's one particular Indian doctor who's still stuck in Kyiv. While there was, a call that was being said that everyone has been evacuated from Kyiv, this doctor and his whole family are waiting for help from the side of India. And he's also seems to be some medical problem with him where he himself can't travel, if we can just address that.
Okay. Who was the person? Srinja, please. I'll come back to you.
So you would have seen that Tamil Nadu has decided to send 4 MPs to Hungary, Romania, Poland, Slovakia, and also 4 IS officers as part of the team. How is the coordination between the Indian government and state governments happening in a foreign country? How is it turning out? The other point, of course, relates to getting people out of Kharkov. At this point, would you be able to say approximately how many Indians are still in Kharkov?
Okay, let me take this round of questions and I'll just take one more round after that. I'll come back to you. Look, Akhilesh, you started off with this some statement. Look, I can't comment on the details because I haven't seen it, but as I said, we are in touch with all countries that are involved, particularly the Ukrainian Russians, of course. And if that works out, excellent. As I said, our request, which has been made at the Prime Minister level, the Foreign Minister level, at any other level with the Ukrainians, is find a safe passage for our citizens. Whether it is exactly by a bus or a train or which route, I think we are not really prescriptive on that. So if it works out, great. But I'm not aware of how that will work out. We have teams in Belgorod. We have it in Kursk. If that route works out, great. But I'm not aware of any subsequent developments on that.
Is he telling that they will take a...
Fair enough, but they need to take them, no? Very good. But they're still inside Kharkiv. I'm not sure how I should react to it. We would love to have us people out. I don't understand. A discussion here on the modalities helps. I'll come back to that. I had a question, I think, exactly from Siddhant on this, on what is the kind of coordination discussion. Look, we are in touch at various levels, whether here in Delhi, in the capitals, at various levels. Our ambassador is in touch in Kyiv with the Ukrainian side. Our ambassador in Moscow is in touch. Here you heard the Prime Minister spoke to President Putin. So I don't know exactly what exact role, as I said, and that brings me, I think, what Suhasini was asking the first question, which was on, look, I don't know if I can add anything more. We got the specific inputs that, look, this is a route that's available. These are the places that Indian citizens should go by this time. We conveyed that to our citizens. I'm happy that many could make it, not in the best of circumstances perhaps, because I think there were sporadic incidents of violence, but this is a war zone and I can't comment on the exact details. We haven't met them yet. But I'm happy that a significant number of people could come out through that route and through whatever trains. So I think that's the kind of conversation. But extrapolating that to say that somebody is holding off bombing or that this is somewhere we are coordinating that, I think is absolutely inaccurate. I don't think. If I could be more facetious, then it will extrapolate itself. So we would then order a resumption of bombing. I think that's really getting a bit much ahead of ourselves. You also had some query on Axios. I saw that media story. It's a media story out of somewhere. It's got nothing to do with us actually. It's some cable which is sent, some cable which is taken back. I haven't seen that cable. I don't know what to comment on it. It's an internal story, so I'd not like to say anything on that. Urvashi asked about Kyiv and Foreign Secretary. Look, I think the Foreign Secretary's statement was pretty clear. I don't want to comment on Foreign Secretary's statement naturally. If I recollect correctly, he said as far as we were aware, all the people who were in touch with us had left, a very strong advisory had been issued, and that nobody had contacted us subsequently. I saw a media report, where it said that one family there, and they said they were in touch with a couple of more people. I'm not sure, because these things change. There is a time issue. There is a certain point the story comes out that runs for some more time. But I would like to assure people that if anybody is actually stuck or still stranded in various parts, this is not a one-off thing. We are going to be continuing to be in touch with them, to guide them, to see how we can assist them to leave any place where they are at danger. So I think that is something that we would like to emphasize. We had a comment from Shinjoy regarding coordination with... Look, I think the coordination with the state government has been excellent. In fact, I would say this is a whole of India approach, to be honest, both across the central government with various ministries, but also with the state governments. We've been sharing with them the manifests, list of people. They have been coordinating once they are in Delhi or in one flight Mumbai and then taking them. I think that has worked out well. I'm not aware of... officers actually having gone abroad. I don't know if they've decided to send, is something I cannot comment on. But as far as I know, none of them have gone abroad, or I don't know how that would help, or whether the host governments would be comfortable just having another channel. As you know, we have special envoys of the Prime Minister there, senior cabinet ministers, and we have our embassy. But again, let me not comment on something that's hypothetical for the moment. Let me stop here, take another round of questions. Okay, ma'am. I think I saw your hand first. You've been... Hold on. Sorry. And so after you that.
Hi, I'm Yeshi from the New Indian Express. My question is that once, hypothetically, if there are 2,000 more people still stranded in Ukraine and they are evacuated, what happens to the embassy there? Will that be shut temporarily? Because you've said that it's gone to Lviv, right? Where are the embassy staffers right now? So will it be temporarily shut?
So your question is basically where the embassy will be? Yes. Okay. Sorry, ma'am. No, I had promised Sudhi. Sudhi, third time you raised your hand. Sure. 1 second, please.
Sir, Shudhiranjan from Bloomberg, sir. The Prime Minister is expected to speak at the Quad meeting shortly from now. If you could give us an understanding of our position there and what is likely to be discussed in that meeting, sir. Thank you.
Once, somebody had related. You had related earlier? Okay, please. Yeah, please. Sorry.
Sir, I'm Achilles from Sunset TV. You know that Quad meeting has come suddenly to us. And can we have an understanding that India has been abstaining in all event forums on this issue, but we had been raising territorial integrity, sovereignty of nations, and security concerns of all the parties. So has this Quad meeting been initiated by us or by some other country?
Akhilesh,
Are we going to?
I have lost you on this question. This is 3 different topics. I've got what you. I'll try to come back to you. I know, but it's too. I've got what you want to say, but I don't follow what how it is related to the poor previous question, ma'am. Please. Oh, okay.
सर मैं कविता हूँ हरिभूमि न्यूज़पेपर से। सर मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि यूक्रेन में जो 2 भारतीय छात्र मारे गए हैं उसमें से एक छात्र जो नवीन है उसको लेकर के प्रधानमंत्री ने उनके परिवार से भी बात की थी और अपनी संवेदनाएं भी प्रकट की हैं। सर अभी डिप्लोमेटिक लेवल पे इंडिया की क्या कोई बातचीत हुई है यूक्रेन की सरकार से कि कब तक उनके शव को यहाँ पर लाया जाएगा, क्योंकि परिवार बहुत दिनों से इंतजार कर रहा है अंतिम संस्कार के लिए हमारे देश में, तो क्या कोऑर्डिनेशन हुआ है? और सर एक सवाल ये सुहासिनी मैम के सवाल से ही जुड़ा हुआ मेरा सवाल है सर, ये कि रशिया ने जो कहा है कि हम मानवीय गलियारा भारत को प्रदान करेंगे इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स को एग्जिट देने के लिए यूक्रेन से, जो रशिया में एंटर करेगा उनको और वहां से होगा। सर रशिया के साथ डिप्लोमेटिक लेवल पे हमारी बातचीत अभी कहाँ पहुंची है? क्या इसकी शुरुआत नजर आ रही है रशिया के साथ कि हमें मानवीय गलियारा अभी वो बनाकर दे रहे हैं, युद्ध विराम करेंगे, ऐसे कुछ इंडिकेशंस हैं?
जी, I think though I saw a hand behind. Was it Jerry? Yeah, please.
Thanks. I just wanted to ask...
for the record, introduce.
Jerry Shi with the Washington Post. I just wanted to ask, if it hasn't been asked yet, Russian President Vladimir Putin said yesterday that there were efforts to install a humanitarian corridor to Russia. What's your knowledge? Has this actually been started? Have any Indians actually used it? Does it actually exist? Thanks.
I think there's similar questions. I don't know how many questions are left, because then I can... Okay, you have more hands. Okay, what we'll do is we'll take the final round after this. Okay, let me just try to answer some of them. Look, on the status of the embassy, I think, Yeshi, you asked. Look, I think I said it yesterday very clearly. Let me repeat what... The embassy in Kyiv, a component of that, a team from Kyiv was asked to move to Lviv. We have an office there now functioning. A significant part of that embassy moved there. I think on Monday they left, or Tuesday would have reached. They are trying to help Indians who are trying to cross over from the western borders. The other part of it was moving. They were a little more dynamic where they were, because we were trying to see if they can go to the eastern borders or eastern part of that effort still continues, so that we can try to go towards the eastern side and try to help the people who are now coming out of Kharkiv or other places. I don't have an exact understanding where they are right now, but that's the thinking of that. What happens? Can you just repeat that? The embassy in Kyiv, on Monday, they were asked, a significant part of that embassy was asked to move to Lviv and operate that. The other part of that team of the embassy was asked to go to the other parts of the border, which is, we're looking at more at the east, but that's still something dynamic in process. They have not reached there. There are certain difficulties in reaching. So I don't know exactly where they are, and we'll share with that. You may ask about what will happen once everything will be shut down. We'll take a decision then. I don't think the embassy is shut in any manner right now. Our ambassador is there. Embassy is fully functional. We got Sudhi and then Akhilesh's related question. Akhilesh, you said it came suddenly. This is not a natural disaster. So, I mean, you may have heard it today morning, but... Okay. Yes, of course, it's not a regular one. Look, on the Quad, I think we issued a statement today morning that there will be a virtual meeting today evening. Let me reiterate that we think this will be an opportunity for the leaders to continue their dialogue after September 2021 summit, the Leaders Summit in Washington. We expect they will exchange views and assessment about important developments in the Indo-Pacific. They will also review ongoing efforts to implement the leaders' initiatives that were announced as part of the Quad's contemporary and positive agenda. I don't think it's appropriate, nor would I try to speculate what the leaders are going to say in the Quad. What we will do is there would be a joint call readout after the Quad, and we will share that. This will be a joint readout of the call across all 4 countries, and we will share that with you once the meeting is over. I think it's in a little while. I think it's in about an hour's time, but I'm not exactly sure. It's not open. It's a closed meeting. It's not open for the media. So I think that answers both your question and this. Kavita ji, आपने पूछा, and I think Jerry asked the same question, and so I'll answer in both. About कविता जी आपने पूछा था about दो शव दो. देखिए, दो लोग मारे गए हैं बहुत डिफरेंट सर्कमस्टांस से मरे हैं. एक नेचुरल कॉजेज से बहुत अलग अलग जगह में भी है, काफ़ी दूर हैं. विस्निया वेस्टर्न यूक्रेन में है. आप नवीन जी की बात कर रहे होंगे, दूसरे तो भी हॉस्पिटल में हैं और जैसे हो सकता है निकाल लेंगे उनके फॉर्मेलिटीज़ करने के बाद उनका जो पार्थिव शरीर है वो तो हॉस्पिटल में. बट नवीन जी की बात जो कर रहे हैं, जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन में है खार्किव में, देखिए इस पे हमारी नज़र बनाए हुए हैं. आपने पूछा, इसमें हम लोकल अथॉरिटी से बात कर रहे हैं. कल मैंने जैसे कहा, फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी ने डेप्यूटी फॉरेन मिनिस्टर यूक्रेन के साथ बातचीत हुई थी कल रात को करीब 1-2 बजे. उसमें भी ये मुद्दा उठाया गया और उन्होंने कहा वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं जो भी कर सकते हैं. पर आपको ये भी ध्यान में रखना होगा कि ये युद्ध की स्थिति है. सिचुएशन वहाँ बड़ा चेंज कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे, और आज भी जैसे देखा काफ़ी बॉम्बिंग वगैरह हुआ है. पर ऐसे हालात के बावजूद हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं और हम यूक्रेनी अथॉरिटीज से इसमें लगातार संपर्क में हैं ताकि उनका शव बाहर आ सके और फिर इंडिया जा सके. एंड जेरी, आपने भी पूछा था जेरी शी, so let me answer in English on that. Look, yes, we saw that. As I said, let me reiterate on the Russian issue of the corridor. We have been pressing all sides, Ukrainian and Russian, for a safe passage of our citizens. Now, if the Russians have a solution to a corridor, great, that's the way to go. But as I said, we had some indication yesterday of a way out through the southwest of Kharkiv. We took that. I don't have any update on any of the other cities, but we are continuing to press, all sides to see if we can get a safe passage from all the areas, conflict zone, where Indian citizens are stranded. कविता जी, मैं यही को दोहराना चाहूँगा कि हम रूसी और यूक्रेनियन से बात कर रहे हैं कि कोई सेफ पैसेज मिल जाए. उसे कॉरिडोर कहें या नहीं, मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे मालूम नहीं उसकी कैसी रूपरेखा होगी उसकी. Sorry, final round of questions. You had raised your hand, minute, and you too. Sorry, 5 lot of questions. Okay.
सर, नीरज न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया से. कल ही आपने कहा था कि रशियन इनपुट के आधार पे उन तीनों जगहों पे जिसमें पेसोचिन भी शामिल है वहाँ जाएं बच्चे. तो वहाँ जब पहुँच गए हैं 1000 के करीब, तो दिक्कत कोऑर्डिनेशन में आ रही है. यूक्रेन की सीमा में है वो, तो यूक्रेन के लोग रशिया बॉर्डर के रास्ते नहीं जाने दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि रशियन इनपुट के आधार पे अगर बच्चे वहाँ पहुँचे हैं तो फिर रशियन बॉर्डर से क्रॉस क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे? कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन में दिक्कत है या यूक्रेन की तरफ से कोई सहयोग नहीं दिया जा रहा?
ओके, नो, आपने प्लीज टेक दैट एंड देन आई विल. यू आल्सो आस्क, सॉरी
सर, शनन फ्रॉम न्यूज़ 18. रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन. कल जो एडवाइजरी आई थी उसमें 3 जगहों के नाम थे. आपने पेसोचिन का जिक्र किया, 1000 स्टूडेंट्स वहां पहुंच चुके हैं एडवाइजरी के बाद. जो 2 जगह है वो बिल्कुल पास में है. एक 1 किलोमीटर की दूरी पे बाबाई है और एक और जगह है जो 16 किलोमीटर,
मेजिलिदेवकov,
वो मैं प्रोनाउंस नहीं कर सकता. ये यहाँ पर जो बाकी 2 जगह है, यहाँ पर कितने स्टूडेंट्स हैं? प्लस क्योंकि आपने कल ऑफिशियली ये कहा था कि ये तीनों जगह भी हम बताया गया था, इट वाज नॉट आवर ऑप्शन. So can we say that these students are in the safe custody of the Russian forces?
Okay. Okay. Your question, please. No, hold on. उनको एक बार पूछने दीजिए. आपने पूछ लिया था ना? You have. अच्छा, I know.
This is Anamsha. I represent the New Indian. Sir, you mentioned we are in talks with the Russian, and there's a sharp increase in the pace of operation. And after this, is there any response from the Ukrainian authorities?
Sorry, could you repeat your question? I didn't get
it.
The pace is increasing. We are in talks with Russians, and what is the part of the question?
Any response of this, abstaining the vote at the UN? Is there any response from the Ukraine? Be it a message of gratitude or after this election. This is the first thing. The second one, the SWIFT is in talks. The SWIFT banking financial system. The countries, including the EU, are pressuring Russia to cut the divorce it. Is there some sort of things, is something in talks which could affect India, Russia, or the trade which are commenced through Russia?
Okay, thank you. I think everybody's asked the first question. I'll take just a quick ones if you have. No, you raised your hand first. I think you said very important. It better be. Okay. नो प्रेशर, नो प्रेशर.
आज चेयर किया विदेश मंत्री ने जो पार्लियामेंट्री कंसल्टेटिव कमेटी है उसको, अपोजिशन बार बार सरकार को या विदेश मंत्रालय को टारगेट कर रहा है कि जो इवैक्यूएशन का काम है वो समय से नहीं हुआ, लेकिन अंदर से ये जानकारी आई है कि शायद अपोजिशन पार्टीज भी इस मुद्दे पे सेम पेज पे है. क्या कुछ अंदर हुआ और अपोजिशन पार्टी का, आप कहेंगे कि आप स्पोक्स पर्सन नहीं है, लेकिन अब जयशंकर जी की तरफ से क्या कहा गया और कैसे?
अच्छा, वो आपने पिछले वाला लास्ट सेंटेंस कह दिया. हाँ, anyway, किसने कौन जरूरत? You have a question, or can I close?
Okay. Last question, sir. In terms of the evacuation process, it is moving very fast. We have evacuated almost 18,000 people. The estimates initially were there were 20,000 Indians. So by what time we can expect the evacuation to be completed? I know this can be a hypothetical question, but any like week, 10 days. Okay. Also, there is a story going on that the war was stopped for 6 hours so that evacuation can happen. If you can give us anything that did it actually happen?
Okay, let me quickly go through this, I think. नीरज, आपने क्वेश्चन शुरू किया था, कहाँ गए नीरज? हाँ, पीछे. पेशोचिन में क्या एग्जैक्टली आपका क्वेश्चन था? रशियन कोऑर्डिनेशन था?
नहीं, रशियन इनपुट्स के आधार
हाँ,
पर आपने
ठीक.
वहां जाने को कहा था.
तो क्यों का? देखिए, आप एक आपका क्वेश्चन आई थिंक और किसी का क्वेश्चन, शैलेंद्र का भी क्वेश्चन ऐसे था. आपका अनुमान ये कि नहीं वहां गए थे रशियन तो इसीलिए रशियन भी ले जाएंगे वहां से बॉर्डर रशियन, ये हाइपोथेटिकल है. मैंने ये कब कहा था कि वहां रशियन के पास पहुंचेंगे और फिर रशियन ले जाएंगे उनको बॉर्डर? आप उसके साथ लिंक कर रहे हैं कि उन्होंने कहा 130 बसें हैं, पता नहीं. ये अलग अलग चीजें हैं. हमें बताया गया कि अभी ये रूट है, यहां आपके नागरिकों को ले जाइए, ये 3 जगह और सेफ रहेंगे, उनको ऑप्शन दिया गया. वहां ले गए. उसमें और मैं कुछ कह नहीं पाऊंगा इसमें. शैलेंद्र जी, आपके पास ये 3 जगह थी, वो रशियन के सेफ कस्टडी का कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं है. वो यूक्रेनियन टेरिटरी में है, वो फ्री है. एक जगह एम्बेसी ने बंदोबस्त किए स्कूल का, वहाँ खाने पीने की बंदोबस्त हो रही है. वहाँ से बसों में या ट्रेनों में, या हम वही निकालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं क्या रास्ता हो सकता है. इसमें ना रूसी इन्वॉल्व है ना यूक्रेनियन है. बिल्कुल हाँ, यूक्रेन की वो जगह मतलब देश है, उनके यहाँ सिक्योरिटी वो दे रहे हैं. पर ये सिर्फ अभी तक कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं आया है. हम चाहेंगे कि जल्दी से जल्दी वहाँ से निकाल लें. 3 जगह थी, पर ऐसा हुआ, भारतीय सब हो सकता है एक साथ ही सोचते हैं, सब वहीं पहुँच गए. सब पेशोचिन नहीं है. हमें तो किसी ने बताया नहीं कि हम मेदुलिजिकोव या वो बाबाई में गए हैं. अब कोई है तो बताएगा. बस हमें मालूम है कि हजार के करीब लोग वहीं हैं. You mentioned Akanksha, right? 2 questions. I didn't understand both of them very well, to be honest. On SWIFT or sanctions, as I have said, let us see the fine print. Let's see it. What exactly is happening. Then we will know how much it impacts us. As I have said, it's not a sanction related to us. It's another country. If and how it impacts us, then we will see. I have nothing to say at this point. And the other thing is, has the abstention led to a response? I'm not sure. We take a position based on various factors and the overall totality of circumstances, as Foreign Secretary explained a couple of days ago. And we have been stating why we have voted in a certain way, our explanations of vote. I don't think there is anything further I can add to that. Aapne zikr, before that, Siddhant, I'll take yours quickly before that. War was stopped, again, is the language that I am not. We were told this is the way to get our citizens out. I limit myself to that. Whether the war was stopped, not stopped, who stopped it, I'm not getting into that. 20,000 was our estimate because from registration. Clearly, if 18,000 have come out, and we estimate at least a couple of thousand there, because as I said, 1,000 are sitting in Pishochin, and there are some people in Sumy, there are some in Kharkiv, there's some more on the western side. So clearly people didn't register. So we estimated this, and I think there will be some more people who will certainly pop up, and we will certainly bring them back. Just because they didn't register doesn't mean we will leave them back. Let me emphasize that. और आखिरी प्रश्न जो मेरे टेक्निकली दायरे में नहीं है, देखिए संसदीय मामला पार्लियामेंट्री कंसल्टेटिव कमेटी के बारे में आई थिंक आप जिक्र कर रहे थे. और जयशंकर जी, एक्सटर्नल अफेयर विदेश मंत्री ने कहा, उन्होंने ट्वीट कहा कि क्या हुआ है. अब ये गोपनीय तो नहीं, पर इसमें प्रिविलेजेस की बात होती है. उसमें क्या हुआ मैं इसमें बारे में नहीं कह सकता हूँ. पर उन्होंने जैसे उसके बाद कहा, मीटिंग के बैठक के बाद कहा कि पूरे देश एकत्रित है इसी इश्यू पे, एक ही भावना से चाहते हैं कि सब लोग हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को वहाँ से आ जाएं सही सलामत, जितनी जल्दी हो सके. बस यही कॉमन पोजीशन आई थिंक उन्होंने कहा है, और इसके अलावा मैं कुछ कह नहीं पाऊँगा. Okay, I think that was a long one. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Sorry, my apologies. I heard that. I wish I could give you a timeline. 18,000 almost are done. So now it's not a question. As I said, we'll have enough flights. Those who are outside Ukraine's border will be brought back. A lot of flights are being put in. Next 2, 3, 4 days, you will see it going on. But it's very difficult to estimate if somebody is in a war zone, a conflict zone, can't come out. I say 2 days and it doesn't happen. Look, so let's not speculate. This is not an area. This is serious stuff. Their lives maybe, they are suffering. They're in. We will try to get them out as soon as possible. We are making all efforts. Let me just emphasize that. I think the entire government machinery is working 24/7 towards this objective. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you for joining this briefing. Please continue to follow the social media handles of our embassies so that you get the latest advisories. And those of you who are stuck in Ukraine, please reach out to our control rooms as well as to our MEA control room. If you feel that you require assistance, you are still at a place where you need to be evacuated. Thank you very much.